The more you prove yourself to her, the faster she loses interest. You reply instantly, explain every move, cancel plans when she calls, open your world, thinking it'll make her stay. But certainty kills desire. No fight, just silence heavier than goodbye. Machiavelli warned, attraction lives in mystery. The less she's sure, the more she invests. This is how you stop being her guarantee and become the calculated risk she can't walk away from. 1. The illusion of effort. The moment you start trying to earn someone, you've already placed yourself beneath them. You think you're building connection, but you're actually building a pedestal for them to stand on and for you to kneel in front of. Alex was 31, sales manager, sharp dresser, good income, the kind of man who made sure everyone felt comfortable around him. He met Claire at a rooftop bar. Warm smile, eyes that pulled him in. She said she liked a man who knows how to treat a woman, so he leaned into that. Texted her good morning before his coffee, cancelled gym nights to take her out, bought tickets to a show she mentioned once in passing, waited outside her office in the rain just to walk her home, and at first, she smiled wider, held his arm tighter. He thought, this is how you make her stay. But slowly he saw it, the subtle shift, the delayed replies, the soft, I'm busy, where there used to be excitement. One night, after he'd driven an hour to surprise her with dinner, she glanced at the flowers, said, you didn't have to, and went back to checking her phone. In that moment, something cold moved through him. It wasn't anger. It was the realization that his effort wasn't securing her, it was smothering the very feeling that drew her in. Machiavelli would call this a fatal misread of the game, mistaking visible effort for value. In the theater of desire, the actor who tries too hard to please the audience loses the tension that keeps them watching. Desire needs contrast, space, the sense that you could walk away at any time. What comes next isn't rejection, it's the way power quietly shifts when the chase ends. He believed generosity was loyalty. She experienced it as predictability, and predictability was boring. The more he gave, the less there was left to discover. The more he showed, the less she imagined. It's not that she stopped wanting him, she stopped feeling anything about him. And the silent truth was, she didn't leave because he failed. She left because there was nothing left to win. Be honest. When was the last time you walked onto the chessboard already playing as her pawn, moving first and fast, only to watch her lose interest? Drop the moment, and I'll give you the exact move that would have flipped the game. Stop filling every space. Stop replying before you've even thought about what to say. Cancel one plan for yourself and keep it. Let her feel the gap, because the gap is where curiosity lives. Soon you'll see how even a small withdrawal can shift the entire frame back in your favor. The next part reveals why mystery isn't avoidance. It's the fuel of lasting attraction. Miss it, and you'll keep working harder for smaller returns, never realizing you're feeding the very pattern that makes you disposable. 2. Observing patterns. The moment you stop talking and start watching, the whole picture changes. You see what most men never see. How the same smile can mean welcome one day and boredom the next. How a warm hand on your arm can be genuine or just habit. Alex learnt this the hard way. After years of chasing, proving, and losing, he decided to try something different. Not another tactic, but a complete shift in how he moved. No more rushing to fill every silence. No more texting first just to feel safe. Instead, he let moments breathe. When he met Sophia at a friend's dinner, he didn't lean forward, he leaned back. She talked, he listened, and for the first time he wasn't calculating the right response. He watched. He noticed the way her pupils widened when he paused mid-story, the way she tilted her head when he didn't answer a question right away, the slight lean in when he excused himself to take a call outside. Over weeks he kept this frame. He dated without expectation, no chase, no begging for clarity. And something strange happened. The women who once seemed out of reach began pursuing him. They texted first, they suggested plans, they asked questions that hinted at curiosity, and even a little jealousy. That's when the truth hit. They weren't drawn to his generosity, his stability, or even his charm. They were drawn to the way he made them feel. And it wasn't comfort that pulled them in, it was uncertainty. The chase, the mystery, the tension of not knowing where they stood. It wasn't cruelty, it was chemistry. Name the next match you'll play where you refuse to move on her command, and I'll give you the opening that forces her to play into your frame. Machiavelli would have called it human nature playing its hand. In the chessboard of attraction, the piece that moves in straight, predictable lines is easy to trap, but the one that shifts unpredictably forces every opponent to think twice before making a move. What comes next isn't noise, it's the move that makes them addicted to your absence. He used to believe love was built on removing all doubt, but for her, removing doubt removed desire. She didn't crave the man who was always available. She craved the man who made her feel something unpredictable. And unpredictability wasn't chaos, it was the very oxygen of her attraction. Pull back one reply. Leave one question unanswered until tomorrow. Not to punish, but to keep the space alive. Soon you'll notice the shift, the leaning in, the longer looks, the sudden curiosity about what you're doing when you're not with her. The next part reveals how to turn that curiosity into commitment without saying a word. Skip it, and you'll keep mistaking her excitement for loyalty, until the day you wake up and realize both are gone. 3. Never give all at once. The fastest way to make someone lose interest is to give them everything before they've had to earn any of it. To you, it feels generous. To them, it feels like the end of the story. Alex met Maya at an art gallery one Friday night. She was magnetic. Sharp eyes, unshakable posture, the kind of woman who made every other conversation in the room sound dull. She smiled like she was letting him into a private world, and he thought, this one's different. So he went all in. Morning texts before his coffee, weekend plans rearranged to fit hers, flowers that matched the color of her dress. He remembered every detail, laughed at every joke, stayed up past midnight listening to her vent. He gave without pause, without question, without space. 3 weeks in, she set her cup down over brunch and said, "You're amazing, but something's missing." She didn't frown, she didn't hesitate, she was certain, and in that certainty, Alex saw something he'd never noticed before. The spark in her eyes was gone. The glance that used to linger on him now drifted to the street outside. She wasn't angry, she wasn't hurt. She was done chasing. Machiavelli would have called it the collapse of leverage. Desire doesn't grow in full light, it grows in shadow. The moment she can map every inch of you, there's nothing left to explore. No tension, no game worth playing. And without the game, there is no thrill. Up next, how mystery bends perception, and how to weaponize it without saying a word. After Maya, Alex changed. He didn't always text first. Sometimes he let a message sit until the next day. He kept parts of his life private, not as a trick, but because they were his. He didn't cancel plans for her, he invited her in only when it made sense. And the shift was instant. She called him late at night. She asked, "Where do I stand with you?" She glanced at his phone like she was expecting a rival's name to appear. Same man, same heart, different frame. He once believed being available proved worth. She found value in what she couldn't fully hold, and that became the gravity pulling her in. How much of what you give is genuine connection? And how much is surrender disguised as love? What game did you end in 3 moves by showing every piece too soon? Put it in one sharp line and I'll reveal the exact reason you lost position. Tonight, hold one thing back. Don't answer right away. Don't explain the gap. Let her feel it. Watch how the questions change. Not to confirm your devotion, but to find the edges she can't see. That's when you know the pull is working. The next part reveals why what feels like emotional danger to you is irresistible to her, and how to use it without losing your balance. Miss it, and you'll keep trading your mystery for momentary approval until there's nothing left to trade. 4. the craving for emotional danger. The moment she feels certain she has you, a strange silence falls between you. Not a comfortable quiet, but the flat, dead air of a game already over. Her laughter softens, her eyes stop searching, and you realize the chase you thought you were building ended the second she knew she'd won. Take Daniel, 36, a successful graphic designer in Chicago. Met Emma at a friend's rooftop party in summer. Golden light, champagne, easy conversation. For weeks, their connection felt electric. Every date ended with her leaning in, wanting more. Then came the shift. One Sunday morning, coffee in hand, she looked across the table and said, "I think I already know you." She meant it as a compliment, but in that instant, Daniel's chest went cold. He noticed she no longer checked her phone between sips, no longer studied his face when he spoke. It was as if she'd stopped looking for new angles, because in her mind, the map was complete. 3 weeks later, she was too busy to meet. 2 months later, she was with someone else. It wasn't betrayal in the traditional sense. It was the quiet erosion that happens when mystery dies. Machiavelli would tell you the strongest fortress isn't built of walls, but of shifting terrain. Emotional danger is not chaos or cruelty. It's the subtle current of unpredictability that keeps another person invested. Strip it away and you're no longer a storm to navigate, but a pond to stroll around. Attraction suffocates in still water. Soon you'll see why the moment you remove all uncertainty, you also remove all intrigue. He thought constant access would build trust. She felt it killed the spark. He offered clarity as a gift. She experienced it as the end of the game. To her, security without tension is like a song with no rhythm, pleasant but forgettable. And once forgotten, the urge to return fades fast. How many men mistake surrender for intimacy, never realizing it's the fastest path to irrelevance? When was the last time she tested your king with a small jab and you tipped it over rather than holding your square? Write it and I'll give you the counter that turns defense into dominance. So here's your move. Don't be cruel, but never hand over every lever of control. Let her sit with the occasional unknown. Skip the instant reply. Keep parts of your life off the table, not to play games, but to protect the gravity of your presence. What comes next will show you how to maintain that charge without losing respect. If you think giving her everything will make her stay, you're one step from becoming a background character in her story. The next part reveals how to become the one scene she can't stop replaying without saying a word. 5. Becoming the chase. There's a difference between being wanted and being owned. The moment she feels you're hers entirely, the current shifts. Her eyes soften for a second, then glaze over. You're no longer the storm she's watching, you're the furniture she walks past. Predictable, safe, boring. Alex learned this the hard way. 32, marketing director. Fit, articulate, and the kind of guy who remembered every detail she ever mentioned. With Emma, he thought he'd crack the code. Spontaneous weekend trips, good morning texts, showing up every time she called. For the first 2 months, she was magnetic, leaning into him, laughing at every joke, touching his arm for no reason. Then, one evening over dinner, she smiled politely, but with that faint absence in her eyes. She asked about his day, but her phone lit up and her gaze lingered on the screen. In that moment, he felt it, the invisible thread snap. It wasn't anger, it wasn't cruelty, it was indifference. And once indifference moves in, it never leaves. Machiavelli warned that power fades the moment it's given without measure. In desire, the same law holds. When you reveal every thought, every plan, every inch of yourself without making her earn it, you collapse the tension that fuels attraction. You hand her the map, the compass, and the treasure before she's even begun the hunt. And no matter how precious the gold, once it's in plain sight, the thrill dies. The most dangerous mistake isn't neglect, it's overexposure. In the theater of desire, the mystery is the script. Without it, the play ends. What comes next isn't noise, it's the move that makes them addicted to your absence. He thought openness was intimacy. She read it as completion. and completion left her restless. He believed loyalty was shown through constant access. She experienced it as loss of challenge. When every answer is ready, every moment accounted for, the mind seeks a puzzle somewhere else. And that's the quiet cruelty, thinking you're giving her security while you're really handing her the keys to walk away. How many times have men traded their edge for comfort, only to realize comfort was the very thing she couldn't stay loyal to? Write the command you wish you'd sent your younger self before giving her the entire board for free. Then I'll rewrite it in Machiavelli's voice so you never repeat it. Don't reply today. Don't rush to reassure. Let the space breathe until curiosity finds her again. But what I'll show you next isn't silence. It's how to hold space so tightly that they lean in, not to hear better, but to feel the pull of what they can't quite reach. What comes next will expose the true nature of love, the part that keeps people hooked or makes them vanish without warning. Miss it, and every move you've learned so far will crumble, because you'll be playing the wrong game without even knowing. 6. The nature of love. The first lie they sold you was that love is safety, that if you gave enough, proved enough, stayed long enough, she would reward you with permanence. But permanence isn't love. It's paperwork. And the truth, the one no one dares tell you, is that the very thing you think will keep her is often the thing that makes her drift away. I learned this the hard way. I once knew a man named David, 39, successful in real estate, the kind of guy who could fix anything in a house, and in a crisis. He met Claire at a networking dinner. They connected instantly. Within weeks, he was there for every need. Rides to the airport, fixing her leaking sink, planning surprise dinners. She called him perfect. But then, one night, over wine, her smile didn't quite reach her eyes. She leaned back, swirled her glass, and said, "I just feel like I know exactly what you'll say before you say it." That was the moment it hit him, not that she was bored, but that she was gone in her mind. He'd given her the whole map, and now there was nothing left to discover. Machiavelli would call this the fatal error of overexposure. In politics or romance, the moment you reveal your entire position, you've surrendered your leverage. Love, stripped of mystery, becomes a finished book, and no one keeps rereading a book when they already know the ending. The power isn't in being unknowable, but in being a landscape she can never fully chart. And here's the part most men miss. She's not craving the absence of love, she's craving the presence of tension. Not chaos, not cruelty, but the subtle uncertainty that says, I am here because I choose to be, not because I can't be anywhere else. What comes next isn't noise. It's the move that makes them addicted to your absence. He thought devotion would make him unforgettable. She saw it as a promise that she could never lose him, no matter what. And the moment she believed that, the current between them went still. How many men have mistaken that stillness for stability, only to wake up to a cold bed and a phone full of unanswered messages? So here's your move. Stop giving loyalty before it's been earned. Keep one part of yourself untouched, not out of fear, but out of respect for yourself and for the rare person who proves worthy of seeing it. When you hold back a piece of your world, you create the gravity that keeps her in orbit. What winning position will you hold next? 1. No opponent can corner. State it, and I'll give you the Machiavellian plan to guard it for the long game. Next, we strip it all down. No tactics, no illusions, just the brutal truth that will decide whether you stay unforgettable or fade into every woman's memory as just another man who gave himself away. This is where everything comes together. You've seen why loyalty isn't earned through gifts, constant availability, or endless explanations. It's fueled by the emotional thrill only mystery, boundaries, and self-worth can create. When you stop seeking approval and start holding your frame, you stop being replaceable. You become the challenge she can't solve, the presence she's drawn to without even knowing why. That's not manipulation, it's respect for yourself. And when you respect yourself, the world adjusts. Leave here knowing you're no longer chasing a place in someone's life. You're creating a life so solid, they'll fight to stay in it. If this opened your eyes, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more strategies that make you unforgettable.